Welcome back to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. Today, we're kicking off our episode with Jane, the practice management software I use in my practice. Earlier this year, the Jane team heard from practices that it's often difficult to manage last-minute cancellations or gaps in the day. Working directly with these practices and their feedback, the Jane team built a new way to manage your waitlist with waitlist notifications. Your clients simply add themselves to your waitlist, and when someone cancels, Jane will give you the option to notify your waitlisted clients through text or email to book that spot. Jane also gives you the ability to automate this process, so if you're tied up in a session or working as a solo practitioner, Jane will send these notifications out for you. This is one thing I love about Jane, that they're intentional about seeking feedback from their community. I know I can always share a feature request with their team and that they want to hear from me. This makes me feel like a valued part of the Jane community and invested in the software that I use every day. If you're wanting to get started with Jane, you can head to jane.app/start and mention the podcast for a 1-month grace period applied to your new Jane account. As health and wellness providers, we know that better patient outcomes require a whole person, multidisciplinary approach that we just can't provide on our own. That's why I've started the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. I'll be bringing you interviews with experts, tips, tricks, secrets, resources, systems, and solutions so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And creating your wellness center won't feel like starting over. Welcome back, everyone. Today on the show, we have Cathy Baillargeon, a former business consultant. She's the owner and chief Cathy officer of Virtual Cathy, a virtual assisting company that supports small business owners, healthcare practitioners, executive professionals, and nonprofit organizations across the U.S. They currently provide executive assisting, customer service, admin, and social media services to active clients in 30 different states. Cathy and her team of 20 plus US-based VAs are devoted to providing personable services to their clients. And you can find them at virtualcathy.com. Thank you so much for being here, Cathy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
So we've known each other for several years at this point, and I met you when you were a business consultant, and now we work together. VWS, our clinic here, uses and loves Virtual Cathy, and we've known each other in different capacities over the years. So I'm so glad to have this chat with you.
Yeah, thank you.
So what do you see healthcare practitioners struggling with most administratively?
There was kind of this interruption, right, in 2020 where so many healthcare practitioners kind of went to this telehealth, right, and found they can continue practicing without a space, like a physical space. And then because of that, they were kind of unaware of, what were they going to do with the receptionist that they might have had, or maybe they saw an increase in services and they've never had a receptionist, and now they're just inundated with admin, but not enough necessarily to hire somebody full time. That's kind of where I've seen a lot of increase in interest from healthcare practitioners in virtual assisting, because it's an alternative way to get that administrative help, and just at a price that's more reasonable than like a full-time or even a part-time assistant.
Absolutely. So what are the most common tasks healthcare providers should consider delegating if they haven't already? I love this question, and I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think that the majority of the tasks that we see or assist in is the phone calls that are coming in, the scheduling of appointments. It could be the email management for the practitioner or the healthcare provider. Sometimes they're just completely inundated and they miss out on leads that are coming in, Psychology Today, or, voice messages from current patients or clients that really allow them kind of, that customer service feel, because they're so busy throughout their entire day, providing the services that they went to school for.
Hmm.
So it's really being that customer service element to it, and scheduling, even pre-screening. We do a lot of pre-screening for practitioners that, maybe not everybody is their ideal client or patient. So taking that off their plate and allowing them to not be the bad guy, to say no, and this isn't the best fit, and allowing somebody else to be that person. And then I'd say kind of gatekeeping for the practitioner, no longer having to be that one primary point of contact. Virtual assistants can respond to emails or even messages through their client portal or texts, so then the practitioner is not so readily accessible. So it's helpful.
And this is vitally important because I work with healthcare providers every day who are overwhelmed and they're wearing all the hats, too many hats in their business, whether they're a solo provider or group practice or multidisciplinary center. And the amount of providers who still don't have admin support, it's the number one recommendation I give, because when you're in it, it feels normal to you as a business owner and provider because you started the business and you're doing all the things and it just kind of sort of feels normal, even though it's overwhelming. But then once they make that step for admin support, they realize instantaneously how much capacity they did not have because they were doing all of those things. So, and like you said, to have live answering and to have that customer service aspect is so important, because oftentimes that client or patient will go with the provider or the clinic that answers first or responds first, because so many people are not responding to their requests. So important. So what are the signs that a healthcare provider that you've seen, these common signs that they might be ready for more admin support or admin support in general?
I'd say that if they are missing out on patients or clients, potential patients or clients, because they're not getting to them in time, or if they have current patients that are complaining about not getting, some kind of communication back, I'd say that the largest sign would be when a practitioner works all day and then they go home and they probably have a couple more hours of admin work that they still have left to do before they finish out the day. That's the number one sign. You need to be allowed to work in the capacity that you went to school for and educated yourself for, right? Which is taking care of your patients and clients. Nobody went to school to be a mental health counselor or a naturopath or an acupuncturist so they can schedule their own meetings or their own appointments.
Exactly. Exactly. And for the listeners to understand how Vancouver Wellness Studio utilizes Virtual Cathy, we do have an office manager who is physically here full time, but we also utilize Virtual Cathy for live answering outside of those reception hours so that we still can give our patients a live answering experience, and make sure that we don't miss any messages or any calls or any information. And it's been so helpful to us.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to know, right?
Hey there, this is Katie from the Jane team. If you find that you're wearing too many hats in your practice, Jane is here to help. Jane is an all-in-one practice management software designed to help you grow and manage your business. If you're wearing the admin hat all day, then Jane can help you with an intuitive schedule and client-friendly online booking that makes managing treatments quick and easy. If you're also wearing the practitioner hat, let Jane help with charting, making it an enjoyable part of your day by using shared chart templates from Jane's chart template library. And if you're also wearing the owner hat, let Jane put you at ease with helpful reports that offer valuable trends and insights on your practice. No matter what hat you're wearing today, we'd love to meet you and see if Jane is the right fit for your practice. Head to jane.app to connect with us. And don't forget, you can mention the Wellness Center Creators Podcast at the time of sign up for a 1-month grace period applied to your new Jane account. We'll see you soon.
So let's talk about the business side of things a bit. How can virtual assistants actually be used to help grow healthcare practices?
Typically, when any kind of healthcare practitioner reaches out to us, it's usually because they're maxed out, right? Not often do we work with, well, I guess we do have some where we work with people who that they want to just maintain what they have, right? They work maybe a couple days a week and they want to maintain the clientele that they have. But virtual assistant can be a stepping stone for the practitioner because, again, we're not in an office, right? But there may come a time where it makes sense to have somebody in the office. But in the meantime, how can you bolster your customer service for the clientele that you have or the patient load? If you wanted to increase the amount of patients that you see per day, gone are the time slots where you could either do notes or call that client or patient back before your next one because you'll probably be going back to back appointments with your clients. So that's one way that we can assist, where you don't necessarily have to be responsible for taking care of those little admin details and tasks between meetings or appointments. So, and then again, in terms of scaling, maybe let's say you've been in practice for a while, you want to maybe niche down or specialize. Again, that comes with additional screening when to see, who would be the better fit. And again, taking yourself out of that process where you may have kind of that emotional component allows somebody who's less biased, right, to be able to make a better decision as to whether this is the best person based off of those screening questions. I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of providers, of course, they don't have the time to do it, but also like you're saying, they also prefer not to do that piece. And it's really difficult for a lot of us to say, oh, I can't actually take you. I don't have room, or it's not the right fit.
Yes.
And so to have that, like you said, be non-biased is really helpful.
There's a lot of areas in business where just as business owners and as healthcare practitioners, there's some kind of emotional component to it. Like, for example, if a healthcare practitioner has a really hard time with invoicing, that's something that somebody else can take on. So then you're not feeling conflicted or maybe even putting off that invoicing or billing or, so it's also beneficial for sure.
Definitely. So, like I said earlier, I've known you for quite a few years. And even when you were a business consultant, you specialized in the health and wellness space.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm curious if you could share with our listeners just a bit about your story, how you got to be doing the work you're doing now and sort of the journey to get there.
Oh gosh, sure. Well, I was a nursing school dropout. Went on to become a medical assistant, then kind of just worked way up into office management, more healthcare administration, and then executive management for healthcare, and then of course in consulting for healthcare specific clients. So I have a pretty heavy background in all aspects of office management for healthcare. So when I decided to create this business, that was one demographic that we wanted to serve because of just seeing the need. And that allowed me to make sure that my team is fully trained up, HIPAA compliant, to make sure that they can, they can be a great asset to the healthcare practitioners that they support.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I know you wanted to give away a little cheat sheet, your 5-star delegation cheat sheet, if you want to tell people what that's all about and how they can find it.
Sure. Yes. It's just kind of a one pager. It allows you to kind of sit and contemplate. If you're not currently delegating, if you're kind of like a solo practitioner, what would you want to delegate first and foremost? The easiest way to delegate is to get rid of the stuff that you don't like doing, right? And so this kind of allows you to set thoughts onto paper, digitally or physically, and kind of see what that would look like for you, evaluate the tasks that you have, and what would be the best way to proceed with delegation. So that's always been helpful. And then I have a link, I believe it's virtualcathy.com/cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet. Yep. We'll put it in the notes as well.
Great. Yeah.
And then I'm sure after this episode, our listeners will be reaching out to you for services because healthcare providers are looking for VAs all the time. So my first question is, do you have room for new clients, and how can people inquire if they would like to know more about your services?
Sure. Yes. We've done a lot of work in building up our team. We definitely can take on clients right now that are, again, we have VAs that are HIPAA compliant and trained in a lot of the majority of the most common
EHRs.
Yep, EHRs,
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can reach out to me directly at Cathy@virtualcathy.com, or you can always go to our website, check us out, check out the team, and then you can fill out a contact form there. I'm happy to have a conversation, even if a practitioner doesn't feel like they're quite ready yet. I'm always happy to have a conversation with them to just talk about the options that you might have, whether working with an agency or working with an independent VA is the best fit for them. I'm happy to be a resource.
That's super generous. Thank you so much, Cathy. And it's been lovely to chat with you today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thanks so much for listening to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please visit our website at wellnesscentercreators.com for more show notes and additional episodes. Plus, if you do have time, please subscribe to the podcast and please consider rating and reviewing the show. That will help other people find us. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Wellness Center Creators Podcast.